a look at the Baseball Reference and Fangraph NL WAR leaders this season. Now, there's different numbers because Fangraphs use a different defensive metric than Baseball Reference WAR does. But Shohei Ohtani, by the B WAR, is ahead of Lindor. But in the F WAR, Francisco Lindor is leading all of baseball. And so you start looking at those numbers right now. And Ron, you take a look at that. And so one category, Ohtani's there, and he seems to be the favorite to win the MVP. But I don't think people are really looking at Francisco Lindor in the National League as really the type of season he's putting together.
Yeah, I don't think they're looking as closely as they should. Listen, we live in a world now where we want to know who the MVP is in June or July. If people were just patient and wait for these 20-plus games to play out and see, the Dodgers haven't won the NL West yet. Let's see if they win the NL West. The Mets haven't gotten into the postseason. Let's see if that happens. I think Lindor getting the MVP really is contingent on if the Mets make the postseason. Why do I think that Lindor's the MVP? Since moving into the leadoff spot, they were 22-33. They're 53-31 since. Everything you could ask from a leadoff hitter, he has done. 23 home runs, 63 RBIs once he hit in that spot. OPS 937. Those are numbers. But his leadership on and off the field, what he's done to be a leader to Mark Vientos, who plays to his right defensively, how he's gone to the mound on several occasions to make things or change the tide of an inning, all of those things play into it, and I think those are important. Listen, it's not that he plays every day, he's an everyday player. He plays every day. 162 games he'll play, knock on wood, at the end of the season. That's 1,450 innings. And that is a difference maker when you're talking about a DH as opposed to Lindor.
Yeah, John, so Lindor is an everyday player, defensively and offensively, versus Ohtani just as a DH. And when you start to factor in the total chances defensively and the ways that Lindor can impact the game as an everyday player versus a DH, look at the differences here.
Yeah, I mean, Lindor has been amazing both ways. As Ron referenced, an incredible leader on that team with the young players. He does it all. Charity, I was at his charity earlier in the day before we went out on the field with all the young kids, the Mr. Smile. He had a dentist there with him talking about teeth and baseball. It was great. The guy's been amazing. I still think it's probably going to be a difficult case for him to win. I think he's got more chance than Bobby Witt Jr. in the other league. Simply because he is now up against a DH. And a DH has never won the award. You know, it's just a matter of, is someone going to look at the all-around game versus the historic nature of Ohtani, and we've never had a 44 man before. He's probably going to be a 50-50 man. That's probably going to be tough to overcome, but Lindor certainly has an MVP-type season.
Yeah, I think the challenge for writers in the voting is you're going to have a 50-50 guy and a 30-30 guy. Yeah. Now, does the defense for Lindor make up for 20 fewer homers and 20 fewer stolen bases than what Ohtani's putting together?
I think it does for me. Listen, it's hard to sit on our platform here and say that Ohtani's not one of the greatest players I've ever seen. He's the best athlete we've probably ever had in the game, and he's having a historic season. But it's not without precedent. There's been historic seasons. If you want to look all the way to Ted Williams in 1941, he's the last guy to hit 406, and he didn't win the MVP. He had the most hits that year. He had the most base on balls, runs scored, on and on and on. McGwire, of course, with the 70 home runs. And Mike Trout in 2012 had a monster season, and that didn't result in one of the few years where he didn't win the MVP. I look at different things as well. You know, a lot of the things that Ohtani's accomplishing, right, as a DH, fresh legs. Does that allow him to steal 50 bases as opposed to being out in the field for 1,450 innings? Those kind of things. Now, I don't want to disparage, but I think at some point, you know, Ohtani might not even be the most valuable player on his team on certain nights because Betts and Freeman are that good. Lindor is the difference maker on this Mets team. And when they were 22-33, all they were talking about what they were going to get back for Alonso. Because of the difference maker Lindor, maybe we're talking about a postseason.
And listen, the best record since May 30th, and it has been an extraordinary season for Francisco Lindor.